Hi there, welcome to my channel, Quilting by Heart. My name's Melissa and I'm so glad that you're here with me today to talk about what I'm doing in my quilting space besides making a mess again. Y'all know that I was just cleaning it up the other day, and you know what happens when you clean out your sewing space. You immediately think of a project that you want to do, or it just gets you creative, the creative vibes going, and you want to sew something. So that's exactly what's been happening around here. Yeah, I hope y'all have had a great weekend. I actually slept in today. Y'all, my face. I am getting so wrinkly. That's one of the worst things about getting old, is getting so wrinkly. But there is one thing to being chubby. It keeps the wrinkles pulled out just a little bit. So, and I always say, if you want a facelift, smile real big. Y'all see my coffee cup? I found this at Hobby Lobby, and it says, "I'll get over it. I just need to be dramatic first." And when I saw this, my husband, he picks on me so much, because if there's one thing that my family is known for, we are very dramatic. It's all of my brothers. I have 3 older brothers, and I'm the baby of the family and the only girl. And we got it honest. We got it from our mom. It's one of those people that if you ever get to know her, she's the center of attention a lot of times, and not in a bad way, but she's just got that personality. And you just have to know my mom. She's always laughing. She's pretty much jolly. She's always got something going on. And I believe that we inherited some of that dramatic flair from that side of the family. So my husband picks on me all the time about how dramatic that we are when we're telling things, or something. We can be really dramatic. And emotionally, I can be dramatic sometimes. I just can be. So when I saw this little coffee cup, it was on sale at Hobby Lobby, and it just fit me to a T. And so I picked it up, and I'm enjoying my cup of coffee today. I slept in this morning. I am feeling much better for it. We had a very long weekend. We had a dinner at our church yesterday. Just really enjoyed the day. But I did quite a bit of cooking, so I made turkey and gravy, and I also made turkey and dressing. Usually I do ham because I'm not a big turkey person. So I picked up that turkey breast, and that became the basis for my menu of what I took yesterday. So we did turkey and gravy, and of course turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce. So we're getting a little jump on Thanksgiving, the fall Thanksgiving vibes this year. And it was really good. Southerners love their chicken and dressing, turkey and dressing at big gatherings. So, yeah, that's what we did yesterday. And I was tired when I came in last night. And I happened to pick up my phone when I laid down and start watching quilting videos. That is a big no-no for me. Because I say, I'm only going to watch one more. I'm just going to watch one more. And then it'll be something else that catches my attention. And I could just watch people quilt all the time. I'm going to share my top 3 favorite quilting channels to watch. But these are people that I actually get quilt patterns from, and things that I actually inspires me to actually sit down and make quilts. They're very beginner friendly, and it's just something that I enjoy. And the first one would be Beth Shibley. And she has My Sewing Room. I think that's the name of her channel. And she is just the calmingest, from the music to the way that she talks to just watching her. It's like so calming. And she inspires me to do things that I probably wouldn't try. I know I made a little wall hanging lately that was inspired by watching her make a little flowered wall hanging. And I just love everything she does, just about it. So that would be My Sewing Room. The next one would be Moonkin Stitchery. I love the way that her videos are organized. You don't see her face. You just see the board in front of her in her hands. And she's laying down her fabric. Usually she's using pre-cuts and stuff like that. But you can make your own pre-cuts out of your own stash. So her patterns are just beginner friendly. They are simple. They don't take forever to do, but they are striking. I really like that she shows, she actually shows the quilt quilted up. She's a long armor, and she's got access to that long arm machine, and it's just something to see that actual quilt top that she's just made actually quilted. And every one of them, you see the project quilted. And I don't know, there's just something about a quilt top when it gets quilted, it just elevates it, and it just makes you want to make that project. She is really good, and that's Moonkin Stitchery. M-O-O-N, like the moon, kin, like you kin, folks, K-I-N, M-O-O-N-K-I-N, Moonkin Stitchery. Y'all need to check her out if you don't. Okay, and who would be my number 3? I guess my number 3 spot, this would be, here lately, I've been watching a lady called Mary Mabel Market. I love her video style. It's just it's fast, it's to the point, and just like my sewing room, it's generally projects that I can wrap my head around. She does a lot of scrap quilting, so if scrap quilting is your thing, she does a lot of scrap quilting. She does a lot of projects that are just beginner friendly and just easier to do. Yeah, she just got so many ideas, and her fabric stash is off the charts. If you think you saw a fabric stash, go and watch Mary Mabel Market's fabric stash, and then pat yourself on the back. You don't have too much fabric. That lady's got some fabric, but she uses her fabric. That's the thing about her. She uses her fabric. She'll have like 5 or 6 quilts going at one time and get them done. That's the thing. She'll get them done. And she inspires me to be a more prolific quilter. Okay, so yeah, I thought I would share that with y'all and talk to y'all about what I have started. So I have started a little quilt, and I'm hoping it's going to at least be a twin size when I finish it. And I'm going to just tell y'all, I don't like quilt math. I just don't like it. I don't like quilt math. Generally, I do it wrong. I make a major mistake. I tried to do quilt math for this little project, and I only was going to make half the blocks that I needed to make. So, me and quilt math do not get along. So, basically, what I do is just start off making generally 12-inch blocks, because I'm just at that time and period in my life where really small, intricate piecing is just not going to happen for me. I wished I had the patience to do that, and one day I tell myself I'm going to make the smallest project, you know, the most tedious little project. Maybe one day I'm going to make this big, huge quilt, and I'm going to do this really intricate pattern, and it's going to be my life's work, kind of, you know, my biggest quilt ever kind of thing. But for right now, we're just quilting and having fun. So, you know, quilting, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be as simple as you make it, or it can be as complicated as you make it. You get to decide, you know, when you're quilting. And that's what I hope, that if you get anything out of my channel, watching me just go on about quilting, it would be that you can do this. It's not hard. It's just really not hard at all. Some people just make it sound really complicated and sound, you know, you got to do it like this, or you got to do it like that. No. We know that the most basic quilts, the old-fashioned quilts, were just made out of scraps of material, flour sacks, overalls, you know, just everything that they could get their hands on. And quilting can be, like I said, as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. I choose to make it simple. I had some fabric that I purchased at Walmart. Now, all of these are not Walmart's fabrics. I'm going to show you my block. And this is an old-fashioned block, and it's called Formal Garden. I've got 2 of them run up here. This is one of them. I think that's so pretty. And I had this fabric that I purchased at Walmart back in 2018. I looked on the, it happened to have the little sticker on it, and it was back in 2018. I had purchased this fabric that's got the chickens on it. It was several prints of the little, you can see there's a little chicken's head. It was a Springs fabric back when they sold the fabric, still had it on the bolt. So it's been a while. But I purchased several yards of that fabric, and I added some with it. I do that. I am not afraid to mix quilt shop fabric with Walmart fabric. I have never had a problem doing that. The only problem that I ever have, I'm going to be dead honest with you, the problem that I have with my quilts staying together the most is when I sew my 1/4 inch seam too scant. Now, I have done that. That's a beginner, that's a rookie error that I still make to this day. I have to be very careful because I took to heart the 1/4 inch seam so much, you know, because I would make my seam too big for so long. And then I started trying to make that what you call the scant 1/4 inch seam. And I can get my seam a little too scant sometimes. But just be consistent. I wouldn't worry about the scant, you know, or just make your 1/4 inch seam and make it as consistent as you can make it. Where it really shows up is where points come together, and you can see mine is far from perfect, but where you're really going to notice it is if you're making like a star block and you don't want to have to cut off your points. But now this doesn't have those end points as much, so yeah. I wanted to make a simple quilt. I wanted something simple for these fabrics that I had compiled and put together and picked out. So yeah, like I said, I got this fabrics from Walmart's here. I bought this from Thousands of Bolts. This one was one from Thousands of Bolts. This was actually a print from Edita Sitar Laundry Basket Quilts. She makes the most beautiful fabric and the most beautiful quilts. And I wanted to come up with a project that would be kind of quick. So I didn't want, and I didn't want it to just, I thought these were kind of, these were very feminine, floral fabrics. They didn't really lend themselves to my usual string or scrap quilting type of block. And I didn't just want to make a 4-patch or a 9-patch. I've done a lot of boxy, squarish type quilts. And I wanted something with a little more movement and a little more action to it. But I didn't want anything that was really hard. So I started to do a bow tie, but I thought, you know, this is such pretty fabric for just a bow tie. It's so feminine for a bow tie. So, but I am going to do another bow tie because I love the bow tie block, and I do want to make another one. But I got out this book here, and if you don't have this, it's called the New Quick and Easy Block Tool, and I have used this several times. This has been a very good investment. You know, sometimes you buy books or you buy quilt patterns or things like that, and you never wind up using it. It just sits on the shelf and you look through it, and it's fun to look through it, you know, but you don't really use it. Well, this little book right here, I have actually used this book a lot, and I think I purchased this off of Amazon, and I have put it to good use. Yeah. So I looked through for a block, and this is going to be a 1-block quilt. It's going to be all the same block, unless I did think about if I want to make it bigger. A long time ago, I made a bunch of shoe fly blocks, and they were absolutely in this same color family. They had a cream background, and they had a lot of these same colors in them. So I thought about, and they were 12-inch, so I thought about digging out those old shoe fly blocks and seeing if I could incorporate them some way into this quilt if I need to make it bigger, if I want to make it bigger. It might be that I could use those in this quilt. I do that a good bit too. I don't like to, you know, discard blocks. But sometimes you just lose your steam on a project. Don't throw those blocks away. They can be table runners. They can be quilted bags. They can be table toppers. They can be baby quilts. Never get rid of your old blocks. Just keep them and do something fun with them. You can put them on t-shirts. You can put them on the back of a denim jacket. There's all kind of stuff they're doing with quilt blocks right now. So, yeah. You can do an orphan quilt. Just out of all your orphan blocks, cut them to the same size and do that. That's really cool. It's kind of like a Quilty I Spy, a quilter's I Spy. See how many of the different blocks you can name. Yeah, there's just so many ideas when it comes to quilting. But I picked out this little pattern, and it's called Formal Garden. and I really love it. I just, like I said, I like the motion of it, and it's got a kind of a pinwheel, but yet a kind of a flowery pinwheel effect to it. So I thought, you know what, I've saw this block before, and it's a pretty block. So, and it only had like 3 colors. It only requires like 3 colors. And so I decided that that's what I was going to use on this particular quilt. It was going to be a formal garden. I thought it would be cute too if you were an embroiderer. If you like to do embroidery, you could embroider something in the center. You could put a little piece of lace there in the center. You could really dress these blocks up. You know, that would be something that you could do. I probably won't do that, but that is, or you could do it with quilting. If you were a hand quilter, you could hand quilt a little flower in the middle there. That would be so cute. Anyways, so that's what I decided to make, and that's what I'm going to try to make. And I've got 2 of them made, and I have got all of my blocks cut out. And I think I got like 20, enough for 21 or 22 blocks, 20-ish blocks out of that fabric. So yeah, that'll be 20 12-inch blocks. And like I said, I've got some more blocks that I could add to that. And of course, I don't do quilt math. I just start out and I make my blocks. And then if I need to make more, I make more. If I decide I've had enough, it turns into a lap quilt or a baby quilt or a table runner. Or if I have more blocks, I will add those in. And borders are a girl's best friend when you're trying to make a quilt bigger. I mean, you can go with borders indefinitely if you need to. And just make your quilt in a medallion in the middle. I mean, but yeah, I'm not good at quilt math, so I'm kind of like Sherlock Holmes. Was it Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot that used to say that there's only room for so much in your brain? And he would call it his gray cells. Don't load down your gray cells with unimportant information or something. Quilt math to me is unimportant information most of the time. I know that we have to do a little bit of it, but it is not my thing. I'm going to do it wrong every time. So yeah, I just wing it. You could, that's why I call this quilting by heart. I just wing it when I start. Most of the time I just wing it. So yeah. But that's what I have got going today. That's what I'm quilting, and I'm still excited about it. But I have to watch myself because, like I said, I watch those quilting videos, so my brain wants to go on to the next thing. I'm wanting to go on to the next thing. I have to watch myself. I have to be kind of firm with myself sometimes because I do tend to have that tendency of getting bored with what I'm working on. But you can't do that all the time. There does come a time when you got to knuckle down and get something finished. So I need to carry on with this formal garden and at least get it into the size that I would like for it to be before I go on. But yeah, something that I am becoming more interested in that I thought I would never be interested in, really, that's catching my attention more and more, is hand quilting. I want to try my hand, not at the little teeny tiny, no. Not even a really big quilt probably to start out, but I have been thinking of more and more about hand quilting, and I would like to try my hand at the big stitch hand quilting, where you can just do it, you know, more intuitively. And yeah, do any of y'all hand quilt? Do you know any hand quilters? I picked up a quilt, and I'll try to insert a picture of it in here. And it's one of the most comfortable quilts that I have ever been under. And this quilt is made out of some old fabric, and the fabric is tattered. It's falling apart in places. I need to go back and patch it and just fix this old quilt because it is a stunner. And it was quilted in a Baptist fan motif, and you can tell the quilter did not even use a stencil. She did not mark the quilt or anything. I don't believe she marked it or anything. She just done the Baptist fan in big stitches. They weren't little teeny tiny stitches, you know. They were just running big stitches. Y'all, that has been the most comfortable quilt, and it is still beautiful. Even falling apart. It's scrappy, it's happy. It's just a beautiful quilt. I picked it up at a Goodwill for $5. And it's just like one of my all-time favorites. And yeah, so I hope that you have enjoyed hearing me ramble on today. I'm expecting a Temu order in, so I'm going to be giving y'all a Temu haul before too long when I get my Temu order in. I have decided to change my quilting space. I think I'm going to go for it. So I've got a little bit more work to do in that room, and hopefully I can take y'all along and show y'all my completed quilting space, because I'm excited to have that closet. I'm excited to have a place to store some of my stuff. If you can see in the background, this room doesn't have a storage closet, and it's just everything is right in your sight line. And I'm thinking about making when I change rooms, I'm thinking about bringing my quilt frame in some, because I only use my frame every so often. When I get a bunch of flimsies, you know, quilted up, then I'll start quilting them, and I might do 4 or 5 back to back, you know, quilts, just to get it quilted. But I don't use it all the time, and it is so long and it takes up so much space when it is all the way extended. I thought about bringing it in halfway. It's either an 8-foot, or you can make it like a 4-foot. So I thought about bringing it into the 4-foot, so it'll have just a little smaller footprint in my room, because I do mostly smaller quilts, lap size quilts, lots of table runners, things like that. So yeah, I thought about just, you know, and that way I can expand it as I need to, but then bring it in so I can have more space in my sewing space, because it's really a beast. It takes up a lot of space in my room, and I'm looking forward to having that big closet, because it's like a big double closet. And I'm going to get my husband, he don't know it yet, but he's going to be installing me some shelving in that, hopefully in that closet, and it's just going to give me some more organization, and it won't seem so cramped. When I'm in here sometimes, y'all could tell in my cleaning video, I'm just really cramped. The cutting table's not large, but I need every bit of my cutting table, and it's just so cramped in here. But maybe we'll have a little more space over there and get some things up and put away, and we can keep it more organized and neater. And I have rambled on long enough. I've kept y'all long enough. I hope y'all are having a good week. I hope y'all are getting off to a good start in your week. Yeah, I'm out of breath, so it's time to quit. I'll talk to y'all next time. Oh, and I forget to tell y'all, if you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you just give me a thumbs up. If you could just drop me a heart emoji in the comments. I mean, you don't even really got to say anything. If you could just drop me a heart emoji and make a comment. If you've got something you want to share, you know, with us, something about quilting, what you're working on. There are some of the sweetest ladies, sweetest people that are in my subscriber list. I'm just always amazed by their kind comments. And I want to start giving some of them a shout out at some point, because it makes my day when I read some of the comments that people leave. People are so kind. And I know there are mean people in the world, but there are some good people in the world too. And we need to be thankful for those people that the good Lord has put in our life, that is just encouraging to us and always uplifting. And we need to focus on the goodness that's around us, because there is so much sadness. I was just thinking about, there's so much sadness in our world nowadays. One thing with the dawn of the internet, it can be used for good, or it can be one of the most depressing things, because news travels so fast now, and what you used to never know about, you know immediately now when anything bad happens in the world generally. And we're just living in a very perilous time, like the scripture said, and we're living in the last days. I really feel like that. I know that we don't know the day nor the hour as Christians when Christ will return to this earth, but we know that he's promised that one day he is going to come back. He's going to return, and I don't feel like it's going to be very much longer by the way that the world is shaping up. But until that time, we need to keep our mind focused on the good things and the lovely things. that's going on in the world around us. And I hope that maybe my videos can give you a little bit of perk up today. Maybe they can give you a little bit of uplift. And I just enjoy getting on here and sharing. I'm going to pop off of here now. I'm going to get off of here because I got a lot to do. I have slept really late today, so I got to get something. I got to get something cooked for supper tonight. That's what us Southerners, it's supper to us. So I've got to cook supper. And I'll have to pick out something to cook. I told my husband, and he don't understand it. He really didn't understand it when I said it. I have finally figured out something about myself. Don't like to cook. Even though I'm a pretty good cook, I don't like to cook. But I love to feed people. I really do. I don't like to cook, but I love to feed people. So I told my husband that, and he's like, I didn't know that, honey. I thought you liked to cook, you know. I think you like to get, no. I'm like, no, Randy, I really don't like the process of cooking. I like to feed people, but I don't like to cook. How many of y'all are like that? I love to watch a person eat a good meal and enjoy it, but I just don't, I'm not really as into the process. And like my quilting, I'm all about doing quick and easy a lot of times, but I want it to taste good too. So I'm going to get off of here. I have bored y'all way too long. Way too long I've bored y'all. I'm going to get off of here. And until next time, this has been me here, Melissa at Quilting by Heart. You can subscribe. Like my videos. Leave a nice comment. Be kind, as Stumper would say. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Until next time, this has been Melissa here at Quilting by Heart. Y'all have a great day. Bye.